Hello everyone and welcome to a new edition of Book Review. Today we're gonna talk about the well-known Fahrenheit 451. Let's begin. So, table of content. In this book review, I will first make a biographical information of the author, then I will make a context in which the book was written, followed by a brief summary of the book, and finally I will make a reference on the main characters. I will talk about the theme or the themes in this story, and I will end with my personal overview. So, first, biographical information of the author. Well, this book was written by Red Bradbury, who is one of the most important and influential writers of the 20th century. He is also one of the most recognized writers of the United States of America. He was born on August 22, 1920, in a little town of Illinois called Waukegan, and he wrote many books of many different genres, such as horror, science fiction, fantasy, and also mystery fiction. He worked always with science, but also with morality and politics. His principal works are this one, Fahrenheit 451, but also The Martian Chronicles, The Illustrated Man, and I Sing the Body Electric. Also, his biggest influence were two writers in specific. These were F. Scott Fitzgerald and also Charles Dickens. And he had a very special love towards Tender is the Night from Fitzgerald. He read that book every time that he went to Paris, and it was like a tradition to him. And he was also very influenced by the Christmas Carol of Charles Dickens. He would move to LA at the age of 40, and at the beginnings of his youth, he didn't have enough money to study, to go to college, so he started to work at the library because he was passionate to books. He loved books, and he thought that a library could fulfill a man. And then he moved to Los Angeles, had two daughters, and he finally died at the LA on June 5th, 2012. Second, context in which the book was written. Well, Bradbury took many historical events that occurred during his life for writing this book. As you may know, Fahrenheit 451 was written and published in 1953. In that time, the United States and the Soviet Union were at the beginning or at the rising of the Cold War. The world was divided, the world was living with fear, and there was a race for the moon, but also a nuclear race, and each country worked for have better nuclear weapons. And that's clearly represented in the story. The technology in Fahrenheit is very advanced, and it shows what the Americans felt, the fear for a nuclear war, but also the end of the radio golden age and the beginning of the TV golden age, represented with Faber and his little gadgets for the ear, and represented with the 3-wall TV that is literally like the main reason of Mildred to live. He was also really shocked in his childhood with two events in specific. The first one is the Nazi book burnings at the end of the Second World War, because the Nazis were killing all the authors and all the writers who thought different than them, and they were also burning the books. That shocked a lot Bradbury, but also the Great Purge. There was a mass censorship and mass censorship in the Soviet Union also by that time, and that's clearly represented in Fahrenheit 451. The world lives under the oppression and under the doctrination of the government. He would also take references of the House of Un-American Activities Committee, and in those years the Truman Doctrine was also released, and that meant the beginning of the Cold War. Going to the first thing mentioned, the HUAC was a house that investigated the men who had communist ideals, and they discriminated all the communists in the United States, thing that, according to Bradbury, seem very unfair and that really left a mark on his life. 3. A brief summary of the book. Well, the book is divided into 3 parts. The first one is called The Hearth and the Salamander, the second one is called The Sieve and the Sand, and the last one is called Burning Bright. In the first part of the book, well, it's the opening chapter, it's the opening part who shows us the characters, the setting, and the plot of the story, and it shows us what's the story about. It introduces the main character, Guy Montag, who is a fireman who isn't quite sure about his life, isn't quite sure about his thoughts, but he works at burning books and at chasing the people who read them. But at the end of this first part, he gets to know his neighbor, a 17-year-old called Clarice McKellen, which is an anarchist, and which tells him that he's not really a fireman, that he loves his work, and with the conversations with Clarice, Montag changes in a completely way his mind, and he's not sure if he loves burning books and if he loves his job. That guides us to the second part of the book, in which little by little Montag starts to evolve, and he starts to not being just a man controlled by the government and a man who just burns book because it's told so, but now he has more conscience and he's attracted to books and he wants to read them despite it's illegal and that he will be chased for doing so. So he decides to call a new character that is Professor Faber. And with Professor Faber, they start to read because Montag knew how to read, but he didn't know the words that he was reading. They were meaningless to him, so he had to hire a new teacher that was Professor Faber. And at that time, Montag has become a rebel, and the tension and the nuclear war in the society has risen, but also the ideals, the anarchist and the rebel ideals of Montag have risen as well. And as the tension rises in the book, we arrive to the last chapter, that is Burning Bright. This is the resolutive chapter of the book and shows the final evolution of Montag. It shows how at the beginning he was just another fireman of the pile, and at the end he becomes one of the leaders in the rebel and one of the outsiders that have to memorize the book, and he represents the book. In this final chapter, the fire department goes to one house and he doesn't know where he's going, and the direction is his house. He was trapped, and now the firemen knew he was reading. They burned his house, so he decides to kill his boss, Captain Beatty, and he runs away successfully. He goes first to the house of Professor Faber, and then he goes to the river and makes a long path, and he arrives to the outside of the bill. He gets to know there a new character who is Granger, and as he turns around his back, he looks how the war just explode in the city and how the nuclear weapons also were exploding. His city, his wife, everyone was destroyed, and that's how this book ends, with a total transformation of the main character, but with also a total destruction of the society and of the setting that we knew at the beginning. It is in that moment and moments before that we arrive to the climax of Fahrenheit 451. Then, when he goes and he turns back and he philosophes about his life, the climax turns down until the end of the story. Okay, so 4. Reference on main characters. Well, with the summary that I made briefly, well, you have recognized some few, but these are the main characters of the story. The first one is Professor Beatty, Guy Montag, who was a former fireman that little by little have more proper ideas and more conscience, and at the end he becomes a rebel. He is the main character of the story. The second one is Clarice McKellen, and although she only appears in the first part, because she was killed after it, she takes a very important role because she was the main one who changed the thoughts of Guy Montag. And other characters are Captain Beatty, who was the boss of, or the chief of the firemen police department. Also Professor Faber, who was the a cold man who knew how to read, who loved books, and who defend his thoughts despite what the society told him to do. He was a very respected and well-known man, but he had always some ill spikes of cowardness. Other characters are Mildred Montag, who is the wife of the main one of Montag, and she was an empty woman who only lived for her 3-wall TV. She didn't care about the war, she didn't care about the books, she didn't care about anything, just her TV. And finally, another important character is Granger, who was one of the rebels who is outside the town. Other characters with less relevance are the friends of Mildred, Mrs. Browse, and Mrs. Phelps. So, theme. There are many themes in this book, but the main ones are the mass censorship that is clearly taken on evidence throughout the whole book. All the society lives under the oppression, under the doctrines of the government, and they cannot read. The government is censorshiping everything. But also another theme is the human evolution, because we see a whole path of the evolution of Montag, our protagonist. At the beginning, as I said before, he was one of firemen of the pile, and at the end he becomes one of the rebels of the society. There's also other two themes, which are the naiveness represented throughout the whole book and represented throughout not the government but the people, the town, who are just naive and who just follow the rules, or they just don't know what to believe, or they just are in their houses without reading, with fear. That's the naiveness on the book. And finally, the ignorance against the knowledge, because the knowledge can be represented like towards Beatty and towards Professor Faber, but also as the government, and the ignorance are Faber, Mildred, not Faber, sorry, are Montag, Mildred, and all the rest of the society who just don't know nothing, and they just follow the things they are told by the government. And that leads us to the final point of this video, is my personal overview. Well, I have to say that Fahrenheit 451, this book right here, is a very good book. It has only 3 parts, and it achieves to take a message to the reader. It shows us that technology can take power of man, that man is a machine, and that man just follow the orders of the society. It's like a little rat that follows what the others follow. And that's the message that leaves Fahrenheit. It also leaves the message, and it's a very important message left in those times, and it is that the books are very important, and that the books will always be important, because the letters represent something more than just the autonomy of the television. And that is reflected in Fahrenheit 451, and that is why it's such a great book and has so many new adaptations on TV. Fahrenheit is a great book, and I liked it very much, and I recommend you to read it because you'll have a great time reading this awesome book. So thank you very much. I hope you like this review, and I hope you'll read Fahrenheit 451 very soon.